Welcome, racing fans, to Motorsports Radio USA for Sunday, April 8th, Pit Road Officiating. This is Pit Road 101, the current system that keeps an eye on pit stops in search of pit road penalties. Info from NASCAR.com, an article from back in July 2016 by R.J. Kraft. So the current system, which was put in place in 2015, simply known as the Pit Road Officiating System, or PRO, keeping an eye on one of the craziest moments of any race, the one that can make or break a day, and that would be pit stops. The Pro system utilizes 40 to 50 cameras, depending on the track. Cameras send video feed from every pit stop to a central hub located at what is known as the TV compound. If a violation or something that looks like a violation is spotted, the violation is flagged for review. Review by race officials. Of course, you have the control tower, as they call it, home of race control. Folks who listen to official communication through the scanner have heard the voice of the race control and the officials. Video footage of the pit stops capture pit stall activities, from tire changes to car adjustments. And something I never knew, that the system is only used in the Cup Series. Now, this was a kind of an old article, so we'll have to do a little research on this, but the Cup Series is the only one that uses this system. Now, cameras and equipment arrive at the track typically on Wednesdays. Cameras are set up, all cameras pointing at pit road. Final adjustments are usually made on Thursdays. Andy Hitchcock, an engineer for the Pro trailer, tells NASCAR.com, quote, "The system has a wireline model of pit road." Now, cameras mounted on the roof. Now, we've all seen the computer lines that mark the pit boxes, thanks to Fox and NBC. The green lines mark the outlines of each pit box, and that's how they capture if a car goes over that line just a little bit, they capture it. Now, I think we are familiar with some of the pit road penalties. We'll get into the details just for fun. The Pro Trailer system kicks into action when a car comes down pit road. When a car comes down pit road, the officials are alerted with a bell-like sound. There are three groups of pit road penalties: vehicle, equipment, and crew. The first one, vehicle, this includes pitting outside the pit box and driving through too many pit boxes. The second one, equipment, this involves two popular ones. One, removal of equipment, and of course, a big one, uncontrolled tire. If that tire happens to roll out of the pit box and cross the pit road, that is uncontrolled tire. Removing of gas can, we all seen that, where the car takes off and the gas can's still attached to the car. Or sometimes the jack is stuck underneath the car. Sometimes that happens. And the third one would be crew. Now, this includes too many crew members over the wall. Okay. Now, teams are only allowed 5, right? And crew members over the wall too soon. Crew not allowed over the wall until the car is one pit box away from the assigned pit box. Now, crowd noise and wind can shake the cameras a bit. However, the cameras have the ability to recognize fixed objects, like pit walls and banners. Now, you may be saying, hey, you forgot about another big penalty, and that is too fast on pit road. Well, there's another system for that. Pit road speed is monitored by sensors located below the pit road pavement, calculating distance over time. The pit road speed limit varies depending on what track they are racing at. For a super speedway such as Talladega, the speed is 55, whereas at a short track, for example, Martinsville, it is 30. The tricky part is that NASCAR race cars don't have speedometers. Drivers rely solely on the tachometer. However, teams can program the tach prior to the race, so the drivers know what RPM matches pit road speed limit. And those who have driven a manual transmission with a tach and a speedometer, depends what you're driving, but usually at 3,000 RPM, right, you would click it up into the next gear. Now, the speed sensors are placed at intervals along the length of pit road, cutting pit road into sections. Teams are informed at what section the driver was too fast in. And yet, another tricky scenario is flying over at over 100 miles an hour, coming out at turn 4, and slowing that car down to the pit road speed limit before crossing over that sensor. And of course, we can't forget about the commitment cone, sometimes referred to as the commitment line. Once you pass that commitment line and you're already entering pit road, you cannot cross over to get back out on the track. That is considered a commitment line violation. And of course, the opposite is also true. If you pass the line on the track and then at the last second try to cut in, I believe you get penalized for that as well. So the thing to note here for NASCAR newbies is the difference between a yellow flag pit road penalty and a green flag pit road penalty. During a green flag pit stop, driver has to serve what is known as a pass-through, which means the driver goes around the track and passes through pit road, coming out the other side, and then in essence being put one lap down. And because you're not crossing the finish line, you're just driving past it. So that's why that is. Now, in the event of a yellow flag pit stop, a driver gets sent back to the back of the longest line of traffic, or sometimes referred to as to the back of the longest line. Now, if you're in the lead lap, they're not going to send you over in the back with all the lappers. So whatever the last guy is on the lead lap, if you're a leader, that's where they're going to put you. Now, there's some other stuff too, but I will get to that over time. I thought this would be a cool little thing to talk about today. Now, what else we're going to say? That's it for today. So thank you very much for tuning in. This is the Motorsports Radio USA podcast. We have a website. I'm going to work on making a little video just to show people what the website looks like, just for the YouTubers. So in some time, I need a little time to get that taken care of. Post-race recaps after every NASCAR Cup Series race, racing schedule, and racing motorsports-related news right here at the Motorsports Radio USA podcast, available at motorsportsradio.net.